The kid's name is Jermaine Burton. Does Jermaine Burton play the next game? Well, of course he does because, well, Alabama doesn't give a rat's about anything other than winning football games. They could have beaten Mississippi State with me playing wide receiver, for crying out loud, and I got 7.7 speed in the 20. But I digress. So let's listen to the coach, the great man, the great molder of men, Nick Saban. Let's listen to old Saban explain why this young man Burton played.
Look, I don't know how many of you have ever been in a situation like that, but I talked to him. He was scared. I was scared. Some of our other players were scared. I think you learn to respect other people because we have a responsibility to do that regardless of the circumstance that we're in. And, I talked to the guy. We have him in a counseling program. It's not an anger management program, as people announced today. Nobody ever said that. That's not the problem. That's not the issue. But it's about having the proper respect for other people. And, I didn't think it was necessary to suspend the guy. So if you knew the whole story, maybe you wouldn't either. But I'm not going to divulge that.
Well, all I heard there was blah, blah, blah. It's like I used to tell my kids when my ex-wife used to talk. What do you hear when you hear mommy talk? Blah, 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 blah. No, maybe that explains why I'm divorced, but I digress. I didn't want to hear Nick Saban tell me about we have a responsibility to be – you weren't. So if you have a responsibility to respect people – part of that responsibility gets ingrained by having consequences when you don't. Now, here's the deal. I always say this to people when I speak to men's groups. I say, all right, you're going to slap your wife, your girlfriend. Then what happens? What do you do? You feel good? You feel bad? What do you do? And then the police come. And you know what they always say? The same thing Nick Saban just said. Well, there's more to it. Well, she hit me first. Well, No, shut up. No, absolute garbage, crap. I can't stand it. And if it were my son or my daughter, I swear to God, I'd be calling for Nick Saban's job. It's ridiculous that we have no stones, no sack in our coaching community. I mean, we've got nothing. Think about this for a second, just real quick, and then I'm going to play what Chris Fowler said on TV. Think about this. So Draymond Green knocks the living hell out of Jordan Poole. A punch that I swear to you, in 27 years of coaching, 7 head coaches I've talked to, nobody's ever seen before. Leave your feet, punch. In an era where workplace environments are important, he doesn't get suspended. This kid here just happens to be walking by a woman. The coach says he's scared. What's he scared of? I've been in these situations. Yeah, get your backside off the field and let's go. But instead, he decides, for whatever the reason, he's going to turn at a young lady who, frankly, isn't even talking to him or looking at him and just smack her. Now, you can tell me, oh, great kid, he's a great kid. You don't understand. No, I don't understand. So, no suspension for him, no suspension for Green. Calvin Ridley made a $1,500 bet. The dude makes about 80 bazillion, and he gets suspended the whole year. We don't care, and you know this. We don't care about workplace violence only if it's outside of sports. We don't care about defending women in sports. We don't. Women are under attack, and it makes me crazy. You can't be a woman. If I get my wife going on this, and she's so right, boys become women. Great, that's fine, but don't tell women how they're supposed to act or how what they are like. It's not in the realm of even sensibilities. It's not in common sense. I don't get it, man. I'll never get it. I'll never understand it. And then here's Chris Fowler. So Chris Fowler is basically the mouthpiece for Nick Saban. Let's hear from Fowler, if we don't mind.
Burton was the guy that felt he was in danger when those fans of Tennessee rushed the field.
Ruling on the field is a completed catch.
He reached out with his hand and he shoved a female Tennessee student. Caused a big uproar. It was posted on her TikTok, and Saban elected not to discipline him in terms of a suspension for the game. That they handled it internally.
Yep.
Paid some price, but able to play here tonight.
That's the catch right there. Right foot is down, left.
Now, you got to understand Chris Fowler. Chris Fowler is a big opinion guy. Chris Fowler has said, when I went to ESPN to work, they always said, yeah, Chris Fowler doesn't think he needs an analyst because he knows enough about it. Well, Chris Fowler is absolutely chicken blank for that right there. Look, we got rid of, not we, Brett Musburger was fired for saying that a woman dating A.J. McCarron was pretty. Like, okay, you got to get this guy out of here. All right? This guy, you can listen to it, and if you listen to it more and more and more and more, this guy Fowler is actually, in certain ways, defending a kid slapping a young lady. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. You know, what do I always hear? I always hear, hey, look, silence is complicit, yeah? Well, how about saying, well, he was a guy that was a frightened. What about the girl? What, like, did you see the tick? It's embarrassing, it's ridiculous, but it's common. Not a suspension for this guy, not a suspension for Draymond Green. So don't tell me in sports we give a rat's about women, and don't tell me in sports even a little bit, even sort of, that we care about safety in the workplace, respect in the workplace. I got 2 words for you. Oh, my backside.